بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear viewers, welcome to our program, The Skill of a Positive Dialogue in Islam. We've been discussing the meaning of the word dialogue both literally and specifically. And we've come to the point where we discuss what hikmah is in calling others to the religion, the kind of discussion that is encouraged by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran. To continue, فإن الإنقاذ بالحكمة وإلا فلينقل معه بالدعوة بالموعظة الحسنة هو أمر النهي المقرون بالترغيب والترهيب. So we've been talking about the verse ادعو إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة, call to the way of your Lord. This is the kind of discussion that's encouraged by the Quran, the kind of give and take that's encouraged by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His book, in which the best language is used, and the best manner is used, and the best etiquette is used. So the first part is to call, and the second part being hikmah, in which a person uses their knowledge to speak to someone about the deen of Islam. The third part is maw'idah hasana. If a person responds to the call when wisdom is applied, all praises are due to Allah. If not, then a just reprimand is applied. This is stronger talk. What does this mean? Does it mean yelling? Does it mean raising the voice? Does it mean having what today is known as a bad attitude? It means none of those things. This is an admonition, a scolding, a reprimand that explains Allah's command in the hopes that to encourage a desire to follow the commands, and is an explanation of what He prohibits, what He forbids, in the hope that it will encourage a desire to keep away from those prohibited things. So this is what's meant by maw'idah. A person explains, this is the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Explains it in the hope that a person would want to follow it. It's also it's an explanation of the things that Allah has prohibited, in the hopes that a person will want to stay away from it once they understand or get the details of these issues. إما بما تشتمل عليه الأوامر من مصالح وتعدادها والنواهي من المضار وتعدادها، وإما بذكر إكرام من قام بدين الله وإهانة من لم يقم به or لم يقم به. If properly done, this admonition, this strong talk will clarify Allah's commands and the number of benefits contained within them. Not just the commands, but how does it benefit the human being? And this admonition will include a clarification of what Allah prohibits. It becomes clear what He prohibits. And we want to add, by the permission of Allah Azza wa Jal, that parents who are raising children, at one stage in their life when they're children, a parent can say to his child, don't do that. And because of the child's youth and their admiration for their parents and their love for their parents, that a small child will accept that. As they get older and become more aware of the world and have more questions, when you command your child or forbid your child, you should have the details. Just like this, Allah has commanded this because. And here's the benefit of this command. Allah forbids this because. Here's the details of the prohibition. And that's because parents also have to have knowledge when they're raising their children. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help you be successful in your raising of your children. This admonition will include the honor that someone receives by actively applying Islam in their lives or the shame someone receives who doesn't apply it in their lives. It includes all those things: the command, the benefits, the prohibitions, the harms, the honor of following, the shame of ignoring. وإما بالذكر ما أعد الله للطائعين من الثواب العاجل والآجل، وما أعد للعاصين من العقاب العاجل والآجل. فإن كان المدعو يرى أن ما هو عليه حق أو كان داعي إلى الباطل فيجادل بالتي هي أحسن، وهي الطرق التي تكون أدعى لاستجابته عقلا ونقلا. Also, this admonition should mention the reward that Allah has prepared for the obedient in this world and the hereafter, as well as the bad consequences He has prepared for sinning people in this world and in the hereafter. If the person continues to insist, then while speaking to him, you mention the ways in which there's evidence that shows the correctness of what you're saying. As when messengers, and our messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when talking to people about Allah, he began with Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the heavens and the earth, the fact that there is a sun, there is a moon, there is an earth, there are stars. Everybody agrees to this. And if you, and the one point the book says, a translation of which is, and if you ask them who created the heavens and the earth, they will say Allah. They will say it was created by God, if that's the word they use. They will say it was created by God. At that point, you have an agreement. Everyone agrees He is the creator, and will agree that He is the sustainer, and will agree that He is the owner. And at that point, then we have the agreement. Then we move to the next step, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, and that is, and this one who you have agreed is the creator and sustainer and owner, has the right to be worshipped. There are verses of the Quran that approve arguing and dialogue. And see, when I say arguing, we don't mean fierce fighting between people. We mean a stronger wording, but not raising of the voice and not fighting. But there are verses of the Quran that approve of dialogue. As in Allah is saying about the people of Nuh, alayhi salatu wasalam, قالوا يا نوح قد جادلتنا فأكثرت جدالنا فأتنا بما تعدنا إن كنت من الصادقين. And they said to Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam, O Nuh, you have disputed with us, and much have you prolonged the dispute with us. Now bring upon us what you threatened us with, if you are of the truthful. But we knew that Noah alayhi salatu wasalam, Noah, did not dispute with people with falsehood. He was calling them to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was calling them to worship Him, worship Allah. But the people here, they called it jidal. Here, Allah Almighty ascribes arguing to Prophet Nuh without disapproving of it. He calls him to it and doesn't disapprove of it, meaning that this was allowed from Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam. Here, Allah Almighty ascribes arguing to Prophet Nuh without disproving it. Also, Allah Almighty says, قَالَهُ صَاحِبُهُ وَهُوَ يُحَاوِرُهُ أَكَفَرْتَ بِالَّذِي خَلَقَكَ مِنْ تُرَابٍ ثُمَّ مِنْ نُطْفَةٍ ثُمَّ سَوَّاكَ الرَّجُلَ. His companion said to him during the talk with him, do you disbelieve in Him who created you out of dust, meaning Adam, then out of the mixed water from males and females, and fashioned you into a man? In this verse, Allah mentions a dialogue between two companions without disapproving of it. and this supports and confirms dialogue. The prophetic sunnah of the Messenger ﷺ also allows dialogue and contains the arguing as the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, ما مجادلة أحدكم في أحق يكون له في الدنيا بأشد مجادلة من المؤمنين لربهم في إخوانهم الذين أدخلوا النار. No one of you disputes more intensely for something that is rightly his in this world than the believers who will dispute with their Lord for their brothers who have entered the fire. Also, similar textual evidence, like the argument that occurred between prophets Adam and Musa, Adam and Moses, the Messenger of Allah said, إن أبا هريرة قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم احتج آدم وموسى فقال له موسى أنت آدم الذي أخرجتك خطيئتك من الجنة فقال له آدم أنت موسى الذي اصطفاك الله برسالاته وبكلامه ثم تلومني على أمر قدر علي قبل أن أخلقه فقال الرسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فحج آدم موسى مرتين فحج آدم Musa. Allah's Messenger ﷺ said, Adam and Musa argued with each other. Musa said to Adam, you are Adam, whose mistake expelled you from paradise. Adam ﷺ said to him, you are Moses, whom Allah selected as his messenger, and as the one to whom he spoke directly. Yet you blame me for a thing which had already been written in my fate before my creation. At that the Messenger of Allah said twice, so Adam overpowered Musa. Adam overpowered Musa. These texts and the like of them prove the permissibility of dialogue and certain kinds of arguments. Indeed, they are desirable if they are for a good cause, with knowledge, and they have profound insight and conducted in a proper manner. However, if dialogue is done for the sake of arguing without any grounds, no scholarly grounds, or conducted in a bad manner or for an evil cause, and is done only for the sake of showing off, quarreling, stubbornness, nullifying the truth, inducing falsehood, and provoking confusion in the hearts of the listeners or participants in the dialogue, then it would be negative and not the kind of dialogue that would be allowed. What's the significance of having dialogue? Allah created human beings with different intellectual abilities. We differ in perception, how we see things. We differ in our knowledge. We differ in our mentality, our color, our language, and our behavior. Allah Almighty says, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ خَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافِ أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ وَأَلْوَانِكُمْ إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَةٍ لِلْعَالَمِينَ. And among his signs is the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the differences of your languages and colors. Verily, in that are indeed signs for men of sound knowledge. Surah Al-Rum, verse 22. And he Almighty says, وَلَوْ شَاءَ رَبُّكَ لَجَعَلَ النَّاسُ أُمَّةً وَاحِدَةً وَلَا يَزَالُونَ مُخْتَلِفِينَ إِلَّا مَنْ رَحِمَ رَبُّكَ وَلِذَلِكَ خَلَقَهُمْ. And if your Lord had so willed, he would surely have made mankind one ummah, but they will not cease to disagree, except him on whom your Lord has bestowed his mercy. And that is why he created them. So as people differ in their opinions, faiths, attitudes, intellectual abilities, and perception of matters, issues, and legal rulings, they need to apply the art, the skill of positive dialogue. Having dialogue and exchange of opinions and different points of view with logical evidence in order to narrow the range of differences among themselves and find a common ground away from scattering, dissension, and dispute, and to unravel the truth for people is a need that we all have. Important things to remember while having a dialogue. The tool in the dialogue, the main tool, is words. And the words we want to use, that we must use, are wholesome speech. We must use wholesome speech in a dialogue. Kalimatu tayyibah. Allah says, إليه يسعد الكلم الطيب والعمل الصالح يرفعه. To him ascend all good words, and the righteous deeds ascend to Allah Azza wa Jal. And Allah Azza wa Jal says, وَقُلْ عِبَادِي يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ يَنزِغُ بَيْنَهُمْ إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ كَانَ لِلْإِنسَانِ عَدُوًّا مُبِينًا. And say to my slaves, meaning the true believers of Islamic Tawheed, that they should only say words that are the best, because Shaitan, Satan, rarely sows disagreements between them. Surely Satan is a plain enemy. So we begin our dialogues and maintain our dialogues with pure words. This is the first thing to remember in the foundations of having a positive dialogue. هذا وصلى اللهم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.